Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm joined by Fantasy Football Scout Deputy Editor Tom Freeman, who will be revealing his Gameweek 27 team. We'll also look back at his Gameweek 26 and look at the best latest strikers and see which midfielder he has in his sights, plus who to captain. Welcome Tom, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Joe. Yes, it's a bit frantic with the midweek deadline, but lots to pack in.
Yeah.
You tend to have to do 5 days working too, but yeah, it's all good, and I do enjoy the night games. So
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent stuff. Just a reminder, do press that like button, does help us out. And do remember to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and also do subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Right, we'll quickly have a look at your Game Week 26.
Yes.
So we are where we've got the deadline coming up today, which is Tuesday. So we're recording this just before lunchtime on Tuesday. So hopefully you should see this soon. Okay, you got 83 points. I've got a picture of Lewis Hall here because he was a bit of a star with 9 points.
He was.
Do you want to just quickly take us through your team and some of your decisions? Obviously, key ones there. You can see Collins again with his points on the bench. Munoz with points on the bench. And Emery. We did all right with Emery.
Yes, yeah. So just going through the team from back to front. So Sells in goal, 0. 3 at the back, Alexander Arnold 6, Gabriel 2, and Lewis Hall got the 9.
Yep.
Really happy with that. Salah captain, 28. And then 4 blanks after that. Palmer, Rogers, Trossard, Semenyo all got 2 each. Bit disappointed with that. But the attackers did, or the forwards, sorry, should I say, did better. Cunha got 9, Isak got 13. And then, yeah, lots of points on the bench this week with Collins, Munoz, and then obviously Fabianski and Undiai, who didn't play, and Emery assistant manager. It felt like damage limitation this week, Joe, because as you can see, I didn't have Mbomo on Friday night. I didn't have Wissa. Quite a few people had Flecken as well, and I didn't have Collins. So I think I dropped to 120k after that night game. So in terms of the recovery, I'm actually okay with it. I got pretty much a grey arrow. Gakpo to Cunha was the transfer. So that paid off instantly, and happy with that. And the Hall assists were really welcome because you can see I benched Collins, I benched Munoz, really needed him to deliver, and he did. And so yeah, an average week, but if you'd offered me that on Friday after the Leicester Brentford game, I would have taken that. So.
Yeah, I mean, 7 of your 15 players, that is not including Emery, 7 of 15 got returns, and some of them quite huge ones. I mean, although they weren't in your team, I always think, because I'm playing a bench point game this season, trying to maximise those transfers when I'm in a positive way rather than like reacting to injuries.
Yes, that's the way you want to do it.
And it's working, I think. And so I look at that and I see Collins, Munoz on the bench. Some people might look at that and go, "Oh my God, what have I done? I've benched all these points." I look at that and think, "Great, they're in your team. You got Munoz already.
Yeah,
Collins is always there, ready to go."
And I think he was in my bus team last week, and I was after that Friday game. I was kind of beating myself up about it a bit because Hall went in quite late. So yeah, I needed points from him, and I'm just glad it worked out. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, realistically, I suspect your decision would have been Hall versus Munoz. So that's 4 points down, I would say. Not
to be honest, Munoz was. I thought they'd concede at Fulham, I didn't. And I know you can play him for his attacking returns, but they are going to be sporadic. I think with him, he's a great threat, but realistically, he's not going to score every other week. I'm happy with all of that, and feel like I'm in a good position for 27 now.
Okay, so I'm going to put a table up of forwards. Now, I know that your decision, we'll talk about this with your next game week, is going to be around a midfielder's move. We did discuss that in quite detail with the FPL Generals video podcast. Do have a look at that if you've got time. Look back. We've got a big table on midfield options there, and so we'll sort of recap that a little bit with Tom. But I did notice with your team, you have got Cunha, great. You got Isak, great. But you have got Ndiaye as well. And also you have no Chris Wood, who's just inevitably scoring points each week. And you've got a Game Week 29 decision to make, whether you're free hitting or not. So there's a lot of strikers out there to go for. So, I mean, first of all, in Game Week 29, are you free hitting or are you looking to use transfers?
Yeah, the latter, Joe. Yeah, I'm looking to use transfers. So with Undiai, he might be back for 29. We had quite a positive update from
Okay.
Moyes last week, so I'm kind of just leaving that for
Okay.
now. What is it, mid-March, game week
Yeah.
29? We've still got a couple of weeks, so I'm going to kind of leave that and park it. But I'm fully aware that I might have to make a forward transfer closer to the deadline if it means that I can only get 10 players out. If Undai's the 11th, he'll have to go and he's not ready.
Okay. Well, here's some options.
Mm.
Mateta's top minutes per expected goal involvement every 83 minutes. That's by far the best. He's got 7 attacking returns, including 6 goals. This is all in his last 6 matches, by the way. 6 matches he's played, 11 shots inside the box. He is the standout. But if you are not free hitting, you might be put off. But you could still get him in if you've got enough transfers. But if you're free hitting, he looks like a no-brainer because the fixtures are really strong for Crystal Palace. And so look, I'm just putting up the fixtures now. Yeah, so Aston Villa they've got next, then Ipswich, game week 28. They do blank in 29, of which if you're free hitting, you can just obviously he's removed for that week. Then he comes back again for game week 30, coincidentally away to Southampton. So you've got two of the best games around that. So yeah, I mean probably not for you because of you're not free hitting, but I mean I guess if you are free hitting or can, Mateta's the one to get any.
Yeah, I think so. He's on fire at the moment, isn't he, Joe? And I'm not looking forward to facing him tonight as a Villa fan. I think that'll be tough in the way that he's playing. He's got that double game week in 32 as well. So I think if you're not going to free hit in 29, which I don't think either of us are, and we're going to wild card in 30, 31, he's probably going to be a lot for that, I would have thought.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll be looking to get him in 32, if not before. Maybe for that Southampton game.
Well, it's that Southampton fixture so appealing. Ipswich, it's a shame to miss out on that one at home. I've got Munoz. It's a shame not to have Mateta, but it's just the way I'm with the chip trajectory it's going. So
there's so many options. We've got lots here. You've got Isak. I've got Isak. Isak's in here as well. We've got Chris Wood as well. Cunha is just in. There's lots and lots of. So it's not like, oh no, I can't get Mateta in. I've got these numpties up front. He's not. You've got some really good players. So Haaland's the next name on here. Now he was injured, but he could be back this week. We could get some more firmer team news. This is being recorded before Pep Guardiola's presser, so do have a look at the team news video I'll be doing with Neil a bit later. A lot of talk about getting Haaland in, captaining him against Brighton, game week 29. Not only as a Brighton fan, I just don't think that's the best fixture. I think Cunha's better. I think Chris Wood is better. I think there's a whole bunch of other strikers that are better in game week 29. So I'm not going to be ripping my team up to get Haaland in. If you're free hitting, that's going to be a tempter. But I don't know. I just don't trust Haaland or City at the moment.
Yeah, it would probably mean selling Salah in the blank and then wild carding him back in to be able to afford it, wouldn't it?
Too much.
14.7 million. He's got a good fixture after Brighton, so I think you've got Leicester after that. So I can kind of see why you might do it. But there's a player lower down on this list in Mamouche who is half the price, who is looking great as well. So if you're not going to captain Haaland this week, which I don't think I would in 29 either, I might look to either a midfielder or Mamouche and try and get a bit of City attack cover that way.
Yeah, I think if I was free hitting, Haaland you could get in.
I would get him. Yeah.
But if you're not free hitting, Marmouche could be the one. I'm personally okay with my strikers. I've got Isak. I don't really want to get rid of him because I'm going to want him back again. And I've got Cunha, great. Chris Wood, great. But I think if you do have space, you could potentially have space. Marmouche is better than Ndai, for example. So let's mention him. I'll just mention quickly for the stats. So Marmouche is actually bottom of this table. So we'll go to him next, as well as Haaland. Haaland is minutes per expected goal involvement every 122 minutes. When I say bottom of this table, this is bottom of the really brilliant strikers table. So he's still really good. Everyone here is really good. Minutes per expected goal involvement for Marmouche every 173 minutes. He's got those 3 goals in his last 6. Haaland has got 7 attacking returns, including 5 goals, so a bit stronger there. But yeah, 7.1. It's that price that he's half the price, and he looks great.
He does look quality, doesn't he? Yeah, I watched him against Liverpool at the weekend and he had the goal ruled out. I know he was playing as more of a kind of essential striker in that with Haaland out, but even when he isn't, De Bruyne just doesn't look right at the moment. So I can see Mamouche getting plenty of minutes in behind Haaland. I think he looks really good.
Yeah,
Great differential. I think his ownership's something like 7% or something like
yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Oh no, sorry, it's 8.2. It's right in front of me. Yeah, so it's good, and yeah, I like that move. He would be a definite consideration if I do have to sell on DI.
Yeah, definitely. So next name is Isaac. He's both our teams going
Yeah,
nowhere. I think free hitting or not, he should be going nowhere because he's got that double in 32, and the
yeah.
fixtures afterwards, Brentford and Leicester. I mean, you're just going to want him for that.
Yeah, and a lot depends on when we're going to wildcard, Joe. You
Yeah,
would only consider selling him in 29 if you were wildcarding in 30, because so to get him
yeah,
straight back, because he's got
exactly.
Brentford,
Yeah,
hasn't he? And then he's got Leicester, then he's got a double game
yeah.
week. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. And those that might be doing that might be because the triple captaincy you can use in 32 on Isaac,
That's
and
what I'll be doing. Yeah.
then you can just use your bench boost for game week 33. And if you're so wildcarding before could be advantageous.
Yeah, that's what I'll probably do.
Because
Yeah.
Isaac, if Newcastle can get past mighty Brighton, could be getting a double game week in 33 as well, I believe. So yeah, Isaac here, his stats: minutes per expected goal involvement every 124 minutes. He's got 7 attacking returns, including 6 goals, 11 shots inside the box, 8 on target. Really good stats there. Chris Wood is next. He is the curse for non-owners. When will he stop scoring? Surely he can't score from one touch every match. Yes, he can. And even when he doesn't, he gets assist points. So he's got
Yeah.
8 attacking returns with 2 assists for 7.2. Yeah, I benched him a couple of times in the last couple of months. I'm never going to do that again. Either he's in my team and plays or not.
Well, I
Yeah,
got him in. I got him in quite late, but then I sold him ahead of Brighton that 7-0 when he scored a hat trick. And so I'm not going to get him in now,
no.
obviously, but he's always in the conversation. I mean, he didn't play well. He was hardly in the game at
No.
Newcastle, but he still comes out with 5 points.
Yeah,
Got that
yeah.
important touch from Milinkovic. And yeah, you can't talk about forwards and not talk about Chris Wood at the moment.
No, people will look at the fixtures and go, maybe it's not time to get him in. I think he's good. Arsenal, terrible form at the moment. He's at home to them next. Man City, terrible form at the moment.
You're
He's at home
back
to
him to
them.
score then.
Game week
Yeah.
29. He's got to be in the captaincy conversation.
Yeah.
He's away to Ipswich. For him, for me, it'll be between him and Cunha, I think, because Cunha is away to Southampton.
Southampton.
In fact, it's going
Yeah.
to be Cunha. But Chris
Yeah.
Wood's definitely in the conversation. And then he's got Manchester United, poor form at home. Aston Villa away. That's actually the toughest. And then you've got Everton at
Yeah,
home.
but still would go into Villa Park. You
Yeah.
could see him getting something.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not that tight at the back, so they're great. They're not. You look at the ticker and you see the colours of it, and you're maybe put off. But I think when you look at each fixture in isolation,
Yeah.
there's merit to bringing him in still.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, very strong asset. It's going to really test my willpower on a wild card in 32,
Yeah.
whether I keep him or not, and that could whatever decision I get probably be wrong. Wissers next at Brentford. Lots of people have sort of doubled up on him and Bomo. Lots of people have just got him, for example. He's good still. Just the 2
Yeah.
goals, but they have had some tough fixtures, and they've got a nice little fixture run at the moment of Everton and Aston Villa at home and Bournemouth away. That's when it sort of gets a bit tougher. So yeah, next few are good, but I've had him since game week 6 and played him every week. I'm quite happy to. I don't care about fixtures with Mbomo, that is rather. And if I had Vissar, I'd do exactly the same. I just think Brentford are quite good and can score against anyone.
Yeah, for sure. That was my choice last week. It was Cunha or Wissa, and it was really close actually.
Yeah.
Cunha's a couple of places below on this, but I always feel like he's so good for bonus. Cunha, he's got more routes to points, I think, but both quality options.
Now, both of us have sold Gakpo for Cunha, but Gakpo is still around a lot of teams. He's got 4 attacking returns for 7.5 in a really good, arguably, the champions in waiting. His next fixtures, so Newcastle at home, okay, and then Southampton at home. See, that's a really good one. But then they do blank, but then they've got Everton, Fulham and West Ham. I think he could be a hold with that Southampton. I think it's that Southampton game. I don't know. What do you think owners should do?
Well, the fact that they've got 2 home games, and that's where he is absolutely brilliant, Kakpo. He's so consistent. I'd keep him. I think he starts against Newcastle. The Southampton game does come with PSG
Yeah.
fixtures in and around it.
Okay.
And then I think you would just I think with Gakpo, it's just a week by week call, I think now. And I think you play him this week against Newcastle because it's at home.
Yeah.
Then you analyse it against Southampton. You would think you would play against PSG. Maybe that is a fixture for Jota to play or Darwin to play, but you just make a call closer to the time. I don't think I'd sell him ahead of Newcastle at home. No.
Okay. Cunha, I mean, we'll sort of sketch over because both of us got him in, so we clearly like him. He's got 3 goals in his last 3 matches, 13 shots inside the box, looks brilliant. Signed a contract, but I think, he'd probably be in the move over summer, but that contract's partly for Wolves' benefit there. He's still 6.9. He'll keep going up in price. And then when he's got that Southampton game in 29, you're going to see quite a lot of movement for Cunha, whether you're free hitting or not. His ownership's 14.9. That's actually gone up about 4% since I've owned him over the last few days. So that's how fast he's going up. I mean, we don't need to say any more about it. We both like him. He's in our team.
I think he's the best forward. Yeah, I think he's the best forward to own right now.
Watkins is next. Your man. I guess it's just price as well. He's 8.9. His minutes per expected goal involvement is just behind Cunha. Cunha's is 154 minutes and Watkins is 163 minutes. But he's got 4 attacking returns. Aston Villa's fixtures are okay, actually. They do have that blank, but they're Crystal Palace away, Brentford away, Brighton away, Nottingham Forest, and Southampton away, Gameweek 32. I mean, it's really annoying he's got Southampton in Gameweek 32, but he could be doubling in 33, possibly, Aston Villa.
Yeah. I mean, I think with Watkins, there's not...
Oh, you're just blanking out for me a little bit there, Tom.
He's... did I cut out then?
Yeah, you just cut out just a tiny bit for me, but yeah.
Okay, well, basically, I'm saying there's not a lot wrong with Watkins as an option. The problem is that 1 is price, 2 the blank, and 3 the fact that you've got cheaper options there, like Cunha at 6.9, like Mateta at 7.4, who are equally as good as Watkins. So I certainly wouldn't bring him in right now because of that blank. But he could, you think about that Southampton fixture there. And that could be a great time to own him. But then the landscape might change. Rashford's making an impact now. Asensio's playing really well. We've still got Rodgers, so there's a lot of options at Villa.
Right, we've already talked about Marmoush when we were talking about Haaland. He's the last name on this list. Just finally, before we move this, there was on Fantasy Football Scout, there was a social media post. Are these the best 3 forwards in the game at the moment? And I liked it because they're my 3 forwards, and it's Isak, Chris Wood, and Cunha. Who do you think the 3 best ones are in the game at the moment? And that, given that we've got the likes of Mateta as well and Marmoush.
Yeah, it obviously depends on chip strategy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because Mateta would probably be in the conversation. Yeah. If you were going to free hit. I'm not. So at the moment for me, Isak, I think, yes, he's got the blank like Mateta, but he's just playing so well. You'd still have to accommodate him. Cunha, definitely my transfer in last week. Fixtures are absolutely superb. The 3rd spot is where it gets interesting. I can't really argue with anybody saying Chris Wood because he's been so blooming good for so long. If it was me, I would like to take a bit of a punt on that kind of spot and go for somebody like Marmoush.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, as much as I like Chris Wood, I think Chris Wood, Marmoush, obviously Mateta for those free hitters, I think they're all very good. And that just shows we've got so many attacking options. The key I get from this is have 3 attackers. And I tell FPL General every week with Chiwomi sitting there on his bench, God's sake, move him on, get another striker in.
He's been playing him quite a bit recently, hasn't he? With Palmer as his first sub.
I know. Yeah, bit of devilish antics there. Let's move on to next week then. So have a look what you're doing. So as I said, you've got Rodgers there in your team, who could be injured, could be out. I'm a spoiler here. I've already removed him. I've moved Rodgers to Bowen, and I funded that with a move from Pickford to Areola. And because Areola and Henderson actually rotate a little bit better for me. And it means I've got 11 for Gameweek 29 already now. So
and you caught the price rise and fall last night. So a swing, which I didn't, because I was just kind of wanting to get all the information today. But that is a pretty big swing, so I get why you did it then.
I did that. And I don't usually like to do that, but I just think I'm okay with that because my first bench is Dango, so I'm happy
Yeah, yeah, you got a good choice.
if I've got that wrong and there's an injury, I don't mind. I've got a good
Yeah, so
first
be
sub.
it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go through your team and who you're captaining and who could come in for Rodgers.
Yeah, okay. So I've got Sells in goal, poor fixture, but I don't want to be spending transfers on my goalkeeper at the moment. I'm not in your luxurious position, Joe, where you've got two. So Sells home against Arsenal. I've got three defenders. I've got Alexander Arnold, Gabriel, and Munoz this week. Five across the middle. Palmer captain, Salah vice, Rogers, Trossard, and Semenyo. And then I've got Cunha and Isak up top. And then Fabianski, Collins, Hall, and Ndiaye on the bench. I've got one free transfer and I've got 2.9 million in the bank. So every transfer I have now has to be with blank game week 29 in
Got
mind.
it. Yeah.
I can get to 11, but the three transfers between now and then have to be used on removing a blank player and bringing in somebody who
Okay.
does play.
So that's Rodgers, possibly and Die. Hall, I would imagine. I imagine would be on the chopping block maybe.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. Yeah, they're the ones I'm looking at. But I think given the flag on Rodgers, we don't know if he'll play. I don't think I just did a prediction for Emma's Jump the Wave group and I didn't put him in. I mean, Emery loves to play him, but I think we've got options now. So if he's not 100%, we're able to do that, which we weren't able to do earlier in the season. So it makes sense to sell him, I think.
Okay.
I also think for Rodgers, for people holding him as well, I think I always want Rodgers in either like a number 10 role or maybe off the left, but Asensio's coming in, Rashford's coming in, the impact that they're making. Rodgers, I think we're going to see him more on the right now. And I don't really think, he can still do well there, but I don't think he's exactly where we want him.
Okay.
So I'm going to sell Rodgers. Like you, Joe, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go for Bowen. He's got that Leicester home fixture on Thursday. He then has a home game against Newcastle. Now, Newcastle are going to Wembley 6 days after that fixture in the EFL Cup. So they could have one eye on that. I think he's a really great option, isn't he? Like 90-minute man, talisman, probably playing through the middle with Kudus and Soler in behind.
Yeah.
I looked at Umbomo, but I don't think now's the time to do it. I think that for me was probably last week. I looked at Neto, Chelsea playing up front, looked good. I just think with game week 29 in mind, I need to get these 90-minute men in. And so I'm pretty sure I'm going to do Bowen this afternoon.
Okay, you've got the captaincy on Palmer. I've got the captaincy on Salah at the moment. But I am
Yeah.
wavering, and I know that Palmer
me too.
captainers are wavering as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah, we all are.
if in doubt, go for Mo Salah is my
Yeah, I
method.
get that.
What do you think it's going to stay on Palmer? And do you have the ability to persuade me?
Well, when I sent over my bus team first this morning, I think you'll notice Salah was captain, and so you can tell it's going back and forth at the moment. Southampton are so bad. I mean, from the weekend, Joe, as a Brighton fan, Southampton are so bad at the moment.
They're proper bad.
Like really, really, really
Yeah.
bad. Like Palmer isn't in a great moment. I think he's lacking a bit of confidence. When he went clean through at Villa the other day, he just he slipped and he just didn't. It didn't feel like the Palmer of last season. But he's got loads of quality. I'm tempted to play the fixture because I know I'm going to be back on Salah at the weekend for the Southampton game when Palmer has Leicester. And I just think maybe this is an opportunity to go for somebody who is going to get that rank boost and hope that he can, it could be a penalty, it could be a set piece. You've got to back Chelsea to score 3 goals, I reckon, at least against Southampton.
Yeah.
Can you say the same for Liverpool against Newcastle? Well, potentially, but I think I would back Chelsea to score more this week. We've just got to hope that Palmer has that. I mean, Salah is like the safety blanket, isn't he? He's probably going to score one. It's just can Palmer go and do more than that?
Yeah, it's, I mean, one thing of note though, the Brighton game, I think the XG was something like 4 for that, and I think the expected goals against Southampton, even when teams have been putting 3 against them, have been quite low actually. But that has been largely with Bednarek, and Bednarek will be out for this one, as he was for most of the Brighton games. So I think, I'm going to stick with Salah, I think. But I don't know. I don't know. I may end up on Palmer.
Yeah, I don't want to conjure, but I mean, it's 11:30, so we've only got a few more hours before deadline. And at the moment, it's on Palmer, and I do think I probably will go for it. just to try and get that, just hope for a brace or something,
Yeah.
which could easily happen. And then you could come out of it really well at the end of the game week, so and really get a decent rank rise.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
risky. It's risky for sure.
Yeah, there's lots of decisions to be made. Yeah, part of the risk is that the huge ownership for Salah.
Yeah.
He'll become a player who's against you, and that's what I hate.
Nobody likes that.
No one
Yeah.
likes that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much for your time there. I'm going to get this, hopefully get this published very soon. So you'll be seeing this well ahead of deadline, well ahead of team news as well. Do look out for that and all the other content of Fantasy Football Scout. Do remember to press that like button. Do remember to subscribe. Good luck with the game week, Tom, and I'll see you again next week.
Thanks, Joe. See you soon.